Let me introduce myself. I'm Teria Shantall, the president of the Viktor Frankl Institute of Logotherapy of South Africa, an institute of training programs that I established while I was still living there. Now that I'm in Israel, I have co-established similar training centers here in Israel and also in Turkey. It's the end of a long journey that started when I moved out of psychoanalysis into logotherapy and trained personally with Viktor Frankl at his first logotherapy clinic in America. My area of interest is particularly clinical psychology, being a registered clinical psychologist myself. And the life-changing impact of using logotherapy in clinical practice is what I want to actually share with you. And I'm hoping to do this over the course of 4 3-hour sessions, starting with optimal living. What are we actually meant to be like? What are we capable of? What are we challenged to be? And that is actually the call of logotherapy, with Frankl's teaching that we each have inherently within ourselves a will to make sense of our lives, to find meaning and purpose and a sense of direction in our lives. And if we do, how we are able to triumphantly overcome problems and difficulties along the way. And then I want to look at the pathology of psychopathology, when we actually miss to see who we really are, and when we become captive to restraining forces, hurtful influences that make us less than what we can be, and that can lead to falling ill emotionally or to become victims if we suffer from organic mental afflictions. And then thirdly, to look at the healing power of logotherapy, to actually awaken the defiant power of the human spirit in those who are mentally suffering. And then to move so much away from the old medical model that categorized people within certain diagnostic categories and treated the person as if they were the mental illness that they were suffering from. Our approach is so different, to awaken the cooperation of the person in addressing their mental illnesses and problems, and to triumphantly overcome them, even if they cannot be healed, to live in spite of them. Then I'm thinking of organically and endogenous afflictions like schizophrenia and the bipolar diseases. And then finally, to consider what Viktor Frankl meant with tragic optimism, because he said, who of us can say that we'll never suffer, we'll never make a mistake, nor will we ever die? These are the tragic factualities of life. And in fact, Frankl said, if we cannot find meaning in them, we cannot find meaning in life, because we actually begin to understand that suffering refines us, that we learn through our sufferings, that we become more compassionate, more aware of what ought not to be, and more provoked to strive for what ought to be. And that when we make mistakes, that we gain in wisdom and understanding and actually become more spiritually and psychologically mature, that we gain character. Like Frankl said, that we should live as if we're living a second time and about to make the same mistake we did the first time. So we learn through our mistakes. We become more mature and wiser. And then finally, that in the face of death, we can understand that life is a challenge, that we are to use the passing time and to use it well, to achieve a life of meaning that we can look back on with gratitude and a sense of fulfillment. I'm looking forward to actually delve quite deeply into the subjects I've raised now, and I'm looking forward to doing that with you.